Oh my gosh, guys, it's the Golden Amethyst Warden. It has a 0.0001% chance of spawning.
These are the funniest fake Minecraft speedruns of all time. This first speedrun begins, and honestly, everything appears to be pretty normal. He doesn't have any strange items in his inventory, he's in survival mode with 0 XP, and he's also facing completely straight. There's just one small issue. When the runner opens his chat, he can see multiple messages about a player leaving and joining the game, which means he's on a world with another player, something clearly not allowed during a solo speedrun. This will make more sense in a few seconds. So the runner starts off by mining some wood, crafting some tools, and locating a nearby village. But let's watch closely to what happens when the runner loots this village chest. I'll play the clip. Did you catch that? Even though there were clearly 0 netherite ingots in the chest, the runner somehow acquired 3 in his inventory. But how is that possible? Well, if we slow down the footage and look extremely closely into the corner of the screen, we can actually spot another player. And we can actually see that this player threw the netherite ingots at the exact same time the player was looting the chest. It's pretty obvious this player is the one we saw leaving and joining the world earlier in the run. So the runner gathers the netherite ingots from his friend and places down a crafting table. Now you're probably expecting him to craft an axe or maybe even a sword, but he instead crafts Thor's hammer. That thing is crazy. So, after destroying an entire village with this new item, the runner begins his search for a ruins portal. And everything appears to go pretty smoothly, as the runner finds the exact amount of obsidian he needs to finish the portal in the chest. There's just one issue. The runner doesn't have a flint and steel in their inventory, or enough iron to craft one. So how are they supposed to light the ruins portal? Well, the runner turns to the side and randomly starts mining some sand. And when he turns back around, he reopens the chest and magically finds the exact flint and steel that he needs. But hold on, just a few seconds ago, we saw the speedrunner completely clear out the chest and there were 0 items left in it. Now, I would be suspicious of his friend we saw earlier, but he's nowhere to be found. Well, until you look a little closer at these blocks of obsidian, where you can actually see his friend wearing an obsidian skin. And now it's obvious how the flint and steel ended up in the chest. So, using the flint and steel from his friend, the runner makes his way into the nether. So the run continues with the runner attempting to find a nearby fortress. And he seems to locate it pretty quickly, which is bizarre considering he didn't use the common technique of scanning for entities like a real speedrunner would. Well, let's take a closer look at this zombie pigman. For some reason, he's been walking in the exact direction as the speedrunner the entire time he was looking for the fortress. But that's not all, because at this frame when he turns around, we can actually see that this isn't a zombie pigman at all, but a player wearing a zombie pigman skin. Because look at the sword he's holding. A real zombie pigman holds it up, while his is held facing down. It's pretty obvious this is the same friend we've seen throughout the run, pretending to be a zombie pigman to lead him straight to the fortress. So the runner locates the blaze spawner, and all appears to be normal. He kills a few blazes and gets the normal 1 rod per blaze that he kills. But notice how the runner magically seems to get a fire resistance effect at this frame, which is bizarre considering he didn't have a potion in his inventory and we never saw him drink one himself. Well, let's take a closer look at this specific blaze, where if you look closely, you can tell this blaze is not like the rest. And at this part of the footage, we can actually see this quote-unquote blaze is the one who threw a potion onto the runner. If you haven't caught on, this clearly isn't a blaze, but his friend simply wearing a blaze skin. So with a fire resistance potion, it's pretty easy for the runner to collect 7 blaze rods, where he makes his way to a nearby bastion. And in the beginning, everything he's doing is completely normal. He's throwing gold, his trades are 100% normal, and he isn't getting any strange potion effects. Until the runner turns around and finds It's a genie? And he's so excited.
Oh my gosh, guys, it's the magical Minecraft genie.
Did I miss an update? So the genie types in chat, granting the runner 3 wishes he can use.
Genie, may I please use my first wish on a stack of ender pearls?
And is this actually gonna work? Oh my gosh, he actually got them.
Oh my gosh, guys, he actually gave me the ender pearls. It works.
For the second wish, the runner decides to ask for some obsidian, most likely to build a nether portal.
It worked again. Oh my gosh, guys, the magical Minecraft genie.
And for his third wish, the runner decides to ask for a girlfriend.
Genie, may I please wish for a girlfriend?
But unfortunately, his third wish isn't granted. So after getting the pearls he needs, he uses the obsidian he got from the genie to craft himself a nether portal and head back to the overworld. And as soon as he spawns in, the runner sees the magical Minecraft genie once again.
Please, just give me one more wish.
Well, the genie actually gives the speedrunner a book, and when the runner opens it, it reads the exact coordinates of the strongholds.
Thank you, Genie. Oh my gosh, I love you, Genie.
This genie is so overpowered, so the runner finds the coordinates and digs down straight into the strongholds, where he's easily able to locate the end portal. And once again, he sees the magical Minecraft genie, who gives the speedrunner a chest with the most overpowered items in all of Minecraft. This genie is so overpowered, so the runner enters the portal and spawns into the end. And this is where things get weird, because it appears as though the ender dragon is dead, as he doesn't have a health bar at the top of the screen. And when the runner goes to the surface, the portal is already filled, but he still sees an ender dragon. Well, if you watch closely, doesn't he seem to be moving slightly different than normal? Dude, this is literally the goofiest ender dragon I've ever seen. And since when does he drop golden apples? Well, if you couldn't already tell, this ender dragon is actually a player's friend we've seen throughout the run, who is actually using a morph mod, because at the end of the run, he actually transfers back to his normal form. This next speedrun begins, and at a first glance, it appears fairly normal. He's selecting the first slot of his inventory, he's in survival mode, and his hunger bar is completely full. But take a closer look at this speedrunner's crosshair. In a real Minecraft speedrun, your crosshair will always be parallel to the surrounding blocks. But in this speedrun, we can actually see that the crosshair is angled slightly to the left of this tree, which means this world generation is completely fake, and the runner has already been on this world. So the runner starts off by mining some wood, crafting some tools, and locating a nearby village. And while the village itself is completely normal, the speedrunner actually just cheated. Because let's rewind the footage to when the runner first started searching for the village. Notice how he seems to run in a very specific direction, which is odd considering he had no way of knowing the location of the village. Well, if you look a little closer, you can actually spot these strange pieces of dirt on the ground. And if we play the entire clip, you'll actually notice the runner has been following these dirt blocks all the way to the village. It's pretty obvious he placed the dirt blocks himself before recording, and now it's clear why he had to fake the world generation. So the runner enters the village, and after collecting some beds and gathering some hay, he goes to loot the chest in this village house. And on the surface, this loot would appear to be pretty normal, with the runner finding feathers, flint, and even an emerald. And to further prove his innocence, he finds the exact loot that would normally spawn in a Fletcher house, the exact house that he's located in. So what could possibly be fake about this part of the speedrun? Well, the problem comes from the biome that this village is located in, because a Fletcher house can only spawn with a chest in one specific village, a Taiga village. The problem is, if we rewind the footage, we can clearly see this isn't a Taiga village, which means the runner actually placed this chest himself off camera to gain an advantage. So after gathering his loot, the runner makes his way to a nearby ruins portal, and at a first glance, the loot in the chest seems completely normal, as all the items are ones that can naturally spawn here. But the chest is not what's fake about this part of the speedrun, because let's play this clip back in slow motion and tell me if you noticed what just happened. Look, there's actually a secret pressure plate on this piece of stone right in front of the chest. And if you move your focus to the right of the screen, you can actually see this pressure plate moving a piece of obsidian in place to complete the portal. Clearly, the pressure plate was placed by the speedrunner off camera. And secondly, it's not even possible for pistons to move obsidian, so I don't even know how he pulled that off. So the runner finishes looting the chest, lights the portal, and makes his way into the nether. And giving him the benefit of the doubt, his spawn seems fairly normal. He's still in survival mode, he gets the advancement for entering the nether, and he doesn't have any strange potion effects. But despite all of this, the runner still manages to locate the fortress extremely quickly. Very bizarre considering he didn't use any speedrun techniques to locate it like a real speedrunner would. Well, let's pause the footage at this specific frame, where if you look extremely closely into the top of the screen, you can make out the shape of an arrow from this glowstone. And if you play the footage, notice how the speedrunner runs in the exact same direction as this glowstone arrow points. It's pretty clear he placed this himself off camera to remind him which direction the fortress was located. So the runner enters the fortress, and for the first time in the entire speedrun, he does something pretty normally, as the runner fights the blazes and starts collecting rods without any suspicious activity, until when he kills this specific blaze, he drops the Balrog? That thing is so powerful. So, after destroying an entire population of blazes and collecting 7 rods, it's now time for the runner to locate a bastion. But he locates the bastion in a way you're probably not expecting, because the runner pulls out his pickaxe, randomly starts digging straight down, and falls right into the heart of a bastion. The problem is, it's literally impossible for a fortress and bastion to spawn in the same region. So I have literally no idea how this runner pulled that off. So the runner enters the bastion, but there's just one slight problem. The runner doesn't have a single iron pickaxe in his inventory. And without an iron pickaxe, there's no possible way for him to mine gold, and he can't trade with piglins. Well, let's watch this clip in slow motion, because as the speedrunner is casually walking throughout the bastion, an iron pickaxe seemingly drops from the sky. But let's rewind the footage to see what really happened. Because remember when the speedrunner used a pressure plate earlier in the run to gain an advantage? Well, if you look closely at this piece of blackstone, you can actually spot another pressure plate. And if we listen to the speedrunner's audio, we can actually hear the sound of a dropper being activated, meaning this pressure plate was placed on purpose for the runner to get an iron pickaxe, hoping we wouldn't notice. And to prove this even further, at this frame, we can actually see the exact position the dropper was located. So, using the iron pickaxe, the runner can easily collect golden ingots, and he starts making trade with the piglins. But throughout the handful of completely normal trades is a single trade that raises suspicion, which is when the runner gets this singular piece of redstone. And while it may appear innocent, it's impossible for redstone to be traded from a piglin, and this will make more sense later in the run. Now, after collecting 16 ender pearls, a normal Minecraft speedrunner would build a nether portal and head back to the overworld in hopes of locating the strongholds. The problem is, the runner doesn't have enough obsidian to build a portal, so how is he gonna get to the overworld? Well, the runner randomly decides to run to this wall and starts digging, until after only a few seconds, he stumbles across the overworld? In the nether? What am I even looking at? Well, the runner walks through, and I guess he's actually in the overworld. I'm so confused on what just happened. So once in the overworld, the speedrunner then throws his eyes of ender, using a technique known as triangulation to locate the strongholds. But if you pay close attention, you'll actually notice that the runner isn't following any of the eyes of ender he's throwing, and actually traveling in a completely different direction. let's take a listen into his audio to figure out what's going on.
Yo, Brandon, what were the coordinates for the stronghold again? I forgot, bro.
Well, he's literally talking to a friend, asking him the exact coordinates for the strongholds. How is he gonna play this off?
Guys, we're at the stronghold. I just used a secret technique I can't reveal.
I'm pretty sure we all know his secret technique is called cheating. So the runner enters the stronghold and ends up locating the end's portal room. There's just one problem. The runner only has 4 eyes of Ender left after he wasted too many earlier in the run, meaning he doesn't have enough to complete the portal and travel to the end, until the runner makes this announcement.
Alright guys, I'm gonna go get some water. I'll be right back in a sec.
And the runner turns off his speedrun. There's just one problem. He didn't turn off his audio, and we can actually hear the sound of eyes of Ender being placed into a portal.
Guys, I'm back. Let's continue the run.
And to nobody's surprise, the portal now has 8 eyes of Ender, leaving him with the perfect amount to finish the portal. So the runner enters the end, and this is where things get crazy. Do you remember when earlier in the run, the speedrunner got this piece of redstone from a piglin? Well, he uses that very piece as the last item in crafting a shrinking device. Is that even a real Minecraft item? Well, instead of shrinking the player, it actually turns him into a giant. And he's literally as tall as the end crystals. And being this size, the fight with the Ender Dragon is fairly easy. The only problem is, he's just slightly too big to enter the portal. Subscribe for more fake Minecraft speedruns.